For any serious income investor, the fundamental challenge is always the same: a trade-off. You can chase a high yield, or you can pursue meaningful growth, but it often feels impossible to secure both from a single source. In this analysis, we will examine a fund engineered to address this very dilemma.
Here is our framework for today. We will begin with the Goldilocks investment dilemma. From there, we will introduce GPIQ as a hybrid solution and deconstruct its underlying strategy. Then we will analyze its performance, compare it to its main competitors, and conclude with a final verdict and a clear-eyed look at the associated risks.
So, let us first define the core problem that every sophisticated income investor must navigate in the current market environment. This is what we call the Goldilocks dilemma.
This is the essential question: the search for an asset that is not too aggressive, not too conservative, but just right in its balance of risk and reward can be a frustrating exercise. It is the financial equivalent of the classic fable.
Now, let us introduce the vehicle that purports to be the answer to this very dilemma: the Goldman Sachs Nasdaq-100 Core Premium Income ETF, ticker GPIQ. GPIQ is a newer exchange-traded fund, having launched in the fourth quarter of 2023. Its stated objective is to resolve the conflict between generating substantial income and participating in long-term capital appreciation. To understand its potential, we must first look under the hood. So how precisely does GPIQ's strategy function? Let us deconstruct its two-part mechanism. At its foundation, GPIQ operates as a covered call ETF. This is a strategy where the fund maintains a long position in a portfolio of stocks and simultaneously sells call options against those same holdings to generate an income stream known as the option premium.
The process is twofold. First, the fund owns the constituent stocks of the Nasdaq-100, providing exposure to the market's premier growth companies. Second, it employs a dynamic options overlay, selling call options to generate income, while being structured to retain a significant portion of the underlying asset's upside potential.
Unsurprisingly, given its benchmark, the fund's portfolio is heavily weighted toward information technology. This allocation directly exposes investors to the powerful secular growth trends that define the modern economy.
This concentration in top-tier technology firms provides significant and direct exposure to the primary drivers of market growth, including artificial intelligence, cloud computing, and digital commerce.
The theory behind this strategy is sound. However, an investment thesis is only as good as its results. Let us now shift our focus to a quantitative analysis of the fund's performance. Observe this figure carefully. This is the fund's trailing 12-month yield. This is not merely a theoretical projection. It represents a substantial income stream distributed to shareholders monthly, which is a key objective for income-focused investors.
To provide some context for that yield, it is dramatically higher than what is typically available from other traditional income-oriented asset classes, such as high-yield corporate bonds or a basket of blue-chip dividend stocks.
Now this is the most critical piece of the puzzle. GPIQ has achieved this high level of income without a commensurate sacrifice in total return. As you can see, its performance has closely tracked that of the Nasdaq-100 Index itself, suggesting the fund has successfully navigated the trade-off between income and growth.
A fund's merits cannot be judged in a vacuum. To properly assess its value proposition, we must now place GPIQ in a direct comparison against its primary competitors in the marketplace.
So let's see how GPIQ measures up against other widely held ETFs that investors utilize for income, growth, or a combination of the two. This analysis will clarify its unique positioning.
This data tells a compelling story. When compared to other income-focused ETFs like JPI and QYLD, GPIQ has delivered a superior total return. While its yield is competitive, notice the upside capture metric. GPIQ's ability to retain a high percentage of the Nasdaq's gains is what truly sets it apart from these other income strategies, bringing it closer to achieving that best of both worlds objective. Of course, no investment strategy is without its compromises. A sober analysis requires that we now evaluate the inherent risks and trade-offs that accompany this approach. There are several key risks to consider. The heavy concentration in the Nasdaq-100 exposes the fund to tech sector volatility. The options overlay, by its very nature, will cap some of the upside potential during periods of extreme market rallies. Furthermore, as a new fund, its long-term durability is unproven. And finally, the monthly distributions are not fixed and can vary with market volatility.
So, what is the final assessment? For the specific investor profile we identified at the outset, one seeking a substantial yield without foregoing the potential for significant capital appreciation, this fund presents a very compelling structure. For this particular mandate, it appears to be, as the saying goes, just right.
Before we conclude, it is imperative to state that this is not financial advice. The content presented in this analysis is for informational and educational purposes only. Furthermore, you must not base any financial decisions on information from social media platforms. Always conduct your own thorough due diligence and consult with a qualified and registered financial professional. If you found this data-driven breakdown to be of value, please support our work by clicking the like button. And to ensure you receive our future analyses, subscribe to the FinBot Insights channel. Thank you for your time.